Hi everybody, Andy here from Boogie Bounce. We just put this short video together to show you how to assemble the Boogie Bounce T-bar handle. There is instructions that come along with the handle, but they do look a bit complicated. It's actually very simple. The base consists of two parts, and the handle consists of two parts. And we have 4 bolts and nuts that hold it together. So really that's all that's involved. I'll show you the process now. So in the box, as well as the 4 main parts of the handle, there'll also be a bag full of sundry nuts and bolts, etc. It's very simple. There's 3 large knobs which secure the base to the trampoline when you put it on the trampoline. And there's 4 bolts, 2 large ones, 2 smaller ones, washers and nuts that correspond with those bolts. There's 2 small Allen keys to help you assemble the handle, and we do provide this small spanner. But it's really there only for emergencies, and it'll be a lot better if you actually have a couple of spanners. It's a 13mm and a 10mm, or even better, if you have a little ratchet set, it just makes it a lot easier to assemble. Okay, to assemble the handle, we want to put the base together first. So you have the L piece and the main part of the base. I find it better if you have the nuts this side to put these knobs into later on when it's completed. So, we have 2 bolts. Put a washer on each of these, and then run these bolts through the base, ready to put the nuts on. Once you've got them through, you put the other 2 washers on, one on each bolt, and then you can put the nuts on. Now please be aware that these are nylock nuts, so they're a locking nut to stop them coming undone afterwards. So when you put the nut onto the bolt and you put it on with your fingers, you will feel a resistance. When you get that resistance, then you want to use the tools. It'll feel quite firm, but as you tighten it up, it'll pull the handle, the 2 sections of the handle up tight together. So once the nut tightens up finger tight, then you can use your spanners, preferably a ratchet set, and it's very easy to tighten it up. So just pinch it up first of all, using the Allen key provided, and as I say, you'll find a socket set makes life a lot easier. Once you can feel it's just beginning to tighten up, it's very important that this part of the handle is square with this, because if it's out of square, it'll make it difficult to fit. So it's worth just looking, make sure it's nice and plumb, and then you can tighten this up. There you go, that's tight. So that's your base assembled. The next part of the assembly is the actual T-bar handle. You have 2 pieces that just slot together, and then you line the holes up. You use the smaller bolts, and with these bolts are provided washers that are slightly curved to fit the shape of the handle. So use the curved washers on these bolts. Once you've got those in there, put the curve washers on the other side, and then you can put these nuts on. Again, these are a locking nut, they're a nylock nut, so just put them on with your fingers until they tighten up, and then you can use your 10mm socket or an ordinary 10mm spanner. If that's all you've got, that's fine. The smaller of the 2 Allen keys, and then you can tighten that up. What I would do is just pinch it up first, and then just make sure that the handle your square, because there is a little movement, there has to be able to get the bolts through. Once you're happy that's nice and square, then you can fully tighten these nuts up, and you'll find that that'll be nice and secure and won't move. Okay, so we're now ready to slide the base onto the trampoline. But first of all, before you do that, just put these securing knobs in. Just a few turns, don't put them in too far, otherwise you won't be able to slide the handle on. So just a few turns in. Okay, before you slide the base of the handle onto the trampoline, there's just a couple of things you need to be aware of. One of the legs has got a label on it which says do not insert leg into base. So you don't want to use that one because the centres are slightly different. It doesn't fit quite so well. What we do have to do is remove 3 of the rubber feet to enable you to slide the base on. So 3 of these feet you can just take off. They come off quite easily. Set to one side. You should then be able to take your base, just line it up and slide it on. It's important that you put it on square and level. If you've got it at an angle, it will jam and it won't go on. But once you have it on, you want to lay the trampoline down, make sure that it's firm, and then you can tighten up the securing knobs on the base so that it's firmly attached to the trampoline. Just tighten them up by hand, all 3 of them, and then that is safe to be operated. And that now won't come off the trampoline. So finally, we want to slot the T-bar handle into the base. In your bag of sundry items, nuts and bolts, etc., there's one of these lynch pins, and this is to secure the handle at the height that you want. Once you've got the height you want, most adults use the first hole, then you should be able to slide your pin in and lock it with that clip. That is now secure and safe to use.